Over 60? Never eat these 7 nuts or you risk weakness and frailty. Yes, that's the title, and before you roll your eyes or think, come on, nuts are healthy, right? Let me stop you right there. Here's the shocking truth. Not all nuts are created equal. Some nuts can actually rob your muscles of strength, trigger inflammation, and even speed up frailty as you age. I've seen patients who thought they were doing everything right, eating healthy snacks every day, only to discover those snacks were secretly sabotaging their health. But here's the twist. The very same food group can also be your best defense against aging if you choose wisely. The difference between staying independent in your 70s and struggling to climb stairs can literally come down to what's in your snack bowl. Now, you might agree with me and say, yes, I always suspected those salted flavored nuts weren't good for me. Or maybe you disagree and think, Dr. William, I've been eating peanuts my whole life and I feel fine. Either way, I promise what you'll learn today will surprise you because some of these so-called healthy nuts are not just overrated, they're downright dangerous if you're over 60. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you care about living stronger, healthier, and longer, hit that like button. Share this video with a friend who's over 60, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Senior Health Tips. Your support gives us the motivation to keep bringing you the latest science and practical advice that could literally change your life. All right, are you ready? Let's uncover the 7 nuts you must never eat after 60, and more importantly, I'll show you the safe alternatives that can help you rebuild muscle, protect your joints, and keep you feeling decades younger. Let's get started. Nut number 1, salted and flavored almonds. Almonds are often praised as the king of nuts, but here's the truth. Most almonds sold in stores are far from healthy, especially for seniors. Many commercial almonds are roasted in cheap, refined oils like canola or soybean oil, which fuel inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation is one of the biggest contributors to muscle loss, arthritis, and even heart disease as we age. On top of that, most packaged almonds are coated with salt, and too much sodium raises blood pressure, causes swelling, and puts extra strain on aging kidneys. Flavored almonds like honey-roasted or chocolate-covered may taste delicious, but they are loaded with sugar that spikes blood glucose, worsens insulin resistance, and speeds up muscle wasting, also known as sarcopenia. Research backs this up. A study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that seniors who consumed excess sodium had a 28% higher risk of frailty. And according to the CDC, nearly 90% of Americans already eat too much sodium every single day. So adding salted almonds only makes matters worse. I once worked with a patient named Margaret, a 72-year-old who snacked on honey-roasted almonds every evening. Within a year, her blood pressure spiked, her legs began to swell, and she constantly felt tired. Once we switched her to raw, unsalted almonds, just 12 to 15 per day, her swelling went down, her blood pressure improved, and she regained enough energy to walk with her friends again. If you're over 60 and want to enjoy almonds safely, here's my advice. Stick to raw or dry-roasted unsalted almonds, limit your portion to about a handful a day, and pair them with vitamin D from morning sunlight or fortified milk to better support muscle repair. Avoid the salted and flavored varieties entirely. They undo the very benefits you're looking for. Do you snack on almonds every day? Are they raw, salted, or flavored? And have you noticed any changes in your energy, swelling, or blood pressure from your choices? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how almonds have affected your health. Nut number 2, cashews in excess. Cashews are creamy and delicious, but when eaten in excess, they can cause more harm than good for older adults. One of the biggest concerns is their high oxalate content. Oxalates can bind with calcium in the kidneys and form stones, which are not only painful but also dangerous for seniors whose kidney function naturally declines with age. Cashews are also very calorie-dense, making it easy to overeat and gain weight without realizing it. Extra weight increases stress on the joints, worsens arthritis, and speeds up frailty. Research from the National Kidney Foundation warns that oxalate-rich foods significantly raise the risk of kidney stones in adults over 60. Another study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that excess weight in older adults directly contributes to weaker muscles and higher rates of disability. I once treated Robert, a 67-year-old who snacked on cashews daily. Within months, he developed severe kidney stones that required surgery. After we removed cashews from his diet and replaced them with pumpkin seeds, which are rich in magnesium but low in oxalates, his kidney health improved and even his nighttime muscle cramps went away. My advice is simple. Cashews aren't bad if eaten occasionally, but they should never be a daily habit. A small handful once or twice a week is enough. For a safer option, try pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. They provide the nutrients your body needs without the kidney stone risk. And don't forget, hydration is key. Always drink enough water to help your kidneys flush waste properly. Do you snack on cashews every day? Have you or someone you know ever suffered from kidney stones? Would you consider switching to pumpkin seeds if it meant protecting your kidneys and maintaining your strength? Share your experiences in the comments. Your story could help others make healthier choices. Nut number 3, peanuts and peanut butter. Peanuts are not true nuts but legumes, and they are one of the least healthy options for older adults. A major concern is their frequent contamination with aflatoxins, toxic molds that grow on peanuts during storage. The World Health Organization classifies aflatoxins as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning there is clear evidence they can cause cancer, especially liver cancer. This is especially dangerous for seniors because the liver naturally loses some of its detoxifying ability with age, making it harder to process and eliminate toxins. Another issue is that peanuts are extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids, which throw off the balance with omega-3. When the ratio is too high, the body enters a state of chronic inflammation. Inflammation is the silent driver of joint pain, arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and even muscle wasting. Add to this the fact that most commercial peanut butter contains added sugar, salt, and hydrogenated oils, and you have a product that promotes inflammation, raises blood pressure, spikes blood sugar, and increases the risk of frailty. Research published in the Journal of Inflammation Research has shown that a high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio correlates with higher levels of inflammatory markers in older adults, directly linking diet to loss of muscle strength. Another study found that aflatoxin exposure in seniors was associated with an increased risk of liver dysfunction and decreased longevity. I had a patient named James, a 70-year-old retired athlete who loved peanut butter sandwiches and ate them almost every day. He thought he was fueling his body with a healthy source of protein. Over time, though, his joints became stiff, his inflammation levels skyrocketed, and his athletic endurance declined. When I asked him to replace peanut butter with almond butter, his inflammation dropped by nearly 40% in 3 months, his joint stiffness eased, and he told me he felt younger again. As a physician, my advice is to avoid peanuts and commercial peanut butter altogether, especially if you're over 60. Instead, choose unsweetened almond butter or walnut butter. Both are rich in monounsaturated fats and omega-3s that help fight inflammation rather than fuel it. For those who want extra protein, pairing almond butter with apple slices or whole grain toast is a simple, heart-healthy snack. Do you or your family still keep peanut butter in the pantry? Have you ever noticed more joint pain, stiffness, or fatigue after eating peanuts regularly? Would you consider making the switch to almond or walnut butter if it could help reduce inflammation and protect your liver? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences, because your story might help someone else protect their health. Nut number 4, salted or candied pistachios. Pistachios are often called one of the most nutrient-rich nuts. They're packed with protein, fiber, potassium, and antioxidants. But here's the catch. The way most people buy and eat pistachios makes them harmful, especially for seniors. The majority of pistachios sold in stores are either heavily salted or sugar-coated. Salted pistachios may taste satisfying, but they raise blood pressure, promote fluid retention, and strain your heart and kidneys. For older adults who already struggle with hypertension or swelling in the legs, this can make matters worse. Candied pistachios, on the other hand, are coated with sugar that spikes blood glucose, worsens insulin resistance, and accelerates sarcopenia, the muscle loss that comes with aging. Research from the Journal of Clinical Hypertension has shown that too much sodium interferes with muscle protein synthesis in older adults, meaning your body becomes less efficient at repairing and maintaining muscle. Another study found that diets high in added sugar are strongly linked to frailty and loss of independence in seniors. So, while pistachios themselves are beneficial, their processed versions can silently harm your health. I treated Patricia, a 71-year-old who loved eating salted pistachios while watching TV every evening. Over time, her ankles swelled, and she began feeling weaker when climbing stairs. Once we replaced her salted pistachios with raw, unsalted pistachios, about 20 to 25 kernels a day, paired with vitamin C-rich oranges, her swelling reduced significantly, and her leg strength improved within 2 months. Another patient of mine, Harold, age 68, used to snack on candied pistachios during his afternoon coffee break. His blood sugar readings were creeping upward, and he was classified as pre-diabetic. After switching to plain pistachios with a handful of fresh berries, his blood sugar stabilized and his energy levels returned. My advice is straightforward. Pistachios are only a health food if you eat them in their natural state. Choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted pistachios and stick to about 20 to 30 per day. To maximize benefits, pair them with fruits like oranges, bell peppers, or berries, since vitamin C helps your body use the amino acids in pistachios more effectively. Avoid eating them with coffee or tea, since tannins can block protein absorption. Do you usually eat pistachios salted, candied, or raw? Have you ever noticed swelling, higher blood pressure, or blood sugar spikes after snacking on the processed versions? Would you be willing to switch to raw pistachios if it meant protecting your muscles and staying strong? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to make a healthier change. Nut number 5. Macadamia nuts. Too many. Macadamia nuts are often promoted as superfoods because they contain healthy monounsaturated fats that can support heart health and reduce inflammation. But for seniors, the danger lies in how calorie-dense they are. Just 10 to 12 macadamia nuts equal about 200 calories, and because they're small and easy to eat by the handful, it's common to overeat them without realizing it. Overeating leads to belly fat gain, which is particularly dangerous for older adults. Abdominal fat isn't just cosmetic, it's metabolically active, releasing inflammatory chemicals that increase frailty, speed up muscle loss, and accelerate mobility decline. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that seniors with excess belly fat lost mobility 36% faster than those who maintained a healthier weight. Another study showed that abdominal obesity in adults over 65 was directly linked to higher rates of falls, hip fractures, and overall frailty. And timing matters too. Consuming large amounts of macadamias or other high-fat foods at night can interfere with overnight muscle recovery. That's because the body spends more energy digesting fats instead of repairing muscle tissue, which is crucial during sleep. Take George, a 69-year-old patient who believed macadamias were the ultimate superfood. He ate them daily, often in the evening, thinking he was fueling his health. Within 6 months, he had gained 15 pounds, mostly around his belly. His balance declined, his walking speed slowed, and he eventually needed a cane. When we cut his intake down to just 8-10 macadamias in the morning and added chia seeds for extra fiber and omega-3s, he gradually lost the weight, his balance returned, and he was able to walk independently again. I also recall Mary, a 73-year-old who used macadamias as her guilt-free snack. Over time, she developed high cholesterol and joint pain. After reducing her portions and switching some of her snacks to flax seeds, her cholesterol dropped, and her knees felt lighter. My professional advice is to treat macadamias as an occasional boost, not an everyday staple in large quantities. Keep it to no more than 10 per day and eat them in the morning when your body is more active and better equipped to burn the calories. Pair them with chia or flax seeds, which balance the fats with fiber and plant-based omega-3s to further support muscle and heart health. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you eat macadamias daily, believing they're completely safe? Have you noticed changes in your weight, energy, or mobility after snacking on them? And would you be open to limiting your portion or swapping them for chia seeds if it meant protecting your strength and independence? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else make a smarter choice. Nut number 6. Walnut or rancid. Walnuts are often praised as one of the best nuts for brain and heart health because of their high omega-3 content, but very few people realize how fragile these fats are. Walnuts spoil quickly, and once they go rancid, they stop being healthy and actually become harmful. Rancid oils produce free radicals that attack cells, damage muscles, and accelerate the aging process. What's even more concerning is that many packaged walnuts on store shelves are already oxidized by the time you buy them, especially if they've been sitting at room temperature for months. The Food Chemistry Journal reports that oxidized oils can double oxidative stress in the body, which is directly linked to increased frailty and muscle weakness in seniors. Another study found that rancid nuts elevate inflammatory markers, leading to joint pain, fatigue, and even a higher risk of chronic disease. This explains why some people eat walnuts regularly but don't see the health benefits they expect. I worked with Helen, a 74-year-old woman who ate walnuts from her pantry every morning. She was frustrated by her constant fatigue and aching joints, and she thought aging was simply catching up with her. When we tested her walnuts, they were rancid. After switching her to fresh walnuts stored in the refrigerator, soaked overnight and paired with antioxidant-rich blueberries, her inflammation markers dropped by 50%, and she reported feeling stronger and more energetic. I also recall a patient named Bill, 70, who had been sprinkling walnuts over his oatmeal each day. He kept them in a warm cupboard, unaware that heat and air exposure were breaking down the oils. Within months, he developed digestive issues and joint stiffness. When he replaced them with freshly stored walnuts from the fridge, his digestion improved and his joint pain eased. As a doctor, my advice is simple. Walnuts are only healthy when fresh. Always store them in the refrigerator or freezer in airtight containers to prevent oxidation. Never eat walnuts that taste bitter or smell like paint. Those are clear signs of rancidity. To boost their benefits, soak them overnight to remove enzyme inhibitors and pair them with berries, such as blueberries or blackberries. The antioxidants in the berries work synergistically with walnut omega-3s to fight inflammation and protect your muscles. Do you keep your walnuts in the pantry, or do you store them in the fridge? Have you ever noticed that they sometimes taste bitter or give you stomach discomfort? And would you be willing to change the way you store and eat them if it meant protecting your muscles, joints, and energy levels? Share your experiences in the comments. Your story could be the key to helping someone else avoid the hidden danger of rancid walnuts. Nut number 7, commercial mixed nut packs. Commercial mixed nut packs or trail mix may look like a quick and healthy snack, but for seniors they're often a hidden danger. Most of these products are loaded with salt, sugar, preservatives, and peanuts, the cheapest filler and one of the least healthy options. Just one small pack can easily exceed 500 calories, which is a serious issue for older adults with slower metabolisms. On top of that, the added sugars cause sharp spikes in blood glucose, which not only increase the risk of diabetes, but also contribute to muscle weakness and frailty over time. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that diets high in added sugar directly worsen muscle function and mobility in seniors. Another study linked frequent consumption of processed snack foods to higher risks of prediabetes and cardiovascular problems in adults over 65. So while trail mix may seem convenient, the hidden ingredients make it far from safe. I had a patient named Bill, a 75-year-old who relied on commercial mixed nut packs every afternoon. Within months, his blood sugar levels shot up, he lost muscle mass, and he was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. After we removed the store-bought packs and replaced them with a homemade mix of raw almonds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds, his energy levels improved, his glucose stabilized, and he felt strong enough to return to his daily walks. Another patient, Linda, 70, thought she was choosing healthy snacks by grabbing trail mix, but the sweetened dried fruits and chocolate pieces pushed her blood sugar so high that her doctor warned she was close to diabetes. By switching to a fresh homemade mix portioned into small containers, she was able to control her weight and maintain steady energy. My advice is simple: skip the commercial packs. Instead, make your own nut mix at home using raw, unsalted almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. Store them fresh and portion them into small servings so you don't overeat. This way you get the protein, fiber, and healthy fats without the unnecessary sugar, salt, and calories. Do you usually buy trail mix from the store, thinking it's a healthy option? Have you noticed changes in your weight, blood sugar, or energy after eating it regularly? And would you be willing to make your own homemade mix if it meant protecting your muscles and keeping your blood sugar steady? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could inspire others to take control of their health. Conclusion: as we've seen, not all nuts are created equal. Some, like salted almonds, excess cashews, peanuts, candied pistachios, too many macadamias, rancid walnuts, and store-bought mixed nut packs can quietly chip away at your strength and energy. But others, raw almonds, pumpkin seeds, fresh walnuts with berries, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, and moderate pistachios, can help protect your muscles, fight inflammation, and keep you feeling strong and independent as you age. The key takeaway is this: it's not about giving up foods you enjoy, it's about making smarter choices. Even small changes like switching from flavored nuts to fresh ones or making your own trail mix at home can have a powerful effect on your health, mobility, and quality of life. Remember, aging doesn't have to mean becoming weaker. The right nutrition can help you stay vibrant well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from this information, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Senior Health Tips. Your support motivates us to keep bringing you more science-based advice to help you live stronger, healthier, and longer. Stay well, stay active, and I'll see you in the next video.